The Power of Influence, the Secret to Making People Like You. Chapter 1. Understanding the Power of Influence. Diving into the domain of influence, you'll quickly realize its potent power and how it subtly shapes our actions, decisions, and interactions every single day. It's not just about convincing others to do something, it's about fostering a relationship where mutual understanding and respect thrive. It's the delicate art of persuasion, the ability to shape perceptions, and the capacity to inspire actions. Influence isn't a one-way street. It requires an insightful understanding of the people you're interacting with, their desires, fears, and aspirations. It's about making people feel seen, heard, and valued. The more you understand people, the more effectively you can influence them. Often, you'll find that influence isn't about authority or being in a position of power. It's about empathy, connection, and trust. You've likely experienced this in your day-to-day life. Think about it. Are you more likely to take advice from a boss who's always in his office, or a colleague who works alongside you, understands your challenges, and offers helpful advice? Being influential isn't about manipulation. It's about creating genuine connections, understanding others' perspectives, and offering guidance that benefits everyone involved. It's about adding value to others' lives, and in return, they trust and respect you. Chapter 2. Becoming a good conversationalist. To truly harness the power of influence, becoming a good conversationalist is an essential skill you need to master. It's not just about talking, it's about engaging in meaningful dialogue that resonates with others. It's about understanding the art of conversation and how to use it to your advantage. Consider this: a conversation is a two-way street. It's not just about you expressing your thoughts, it's also about listening to what the other person has to say. Practice active listening. Show that you're genuinely interested in the conversation by giving feedback, asking relevant questions, and summarizing their points to show your comprehension. This will make the person feel heard and valued. Furthermore, clarity in communication is key. Your thoughts should be clear and concise. Avoid overcomplicated language or jargon that might confuse the listener. Remember, your goal is to connect with them, not to impress them with your vocabulary. Balance is another important aspect. Don't monopolize the conversation, but don't be too passive either. The conversation should be an equal exchange of thoughts and ideas. It's about give and take. Lastly, remember to be respectful. Everyone has their own opinions and beliefs. You may not always agree, but it's important to respect the other person's point of view. This shows maturity and professionalism, which can greatly enhance your influence. Mastering these skills won't happen overnight, but with practice and patience, you'll slowly become an effective conversationalist, amplifying your power of influence. Chapter 3. Showing genuine interest in others. Harnessing the power of influence also entails showing genuine interest in others, which goes far beyond simple courtesy and into the domain of empathy and understanding. This isn't just about pretending to listen while you wait for your turn to speak. It's about genuinely wanting to know and understand the person in front of you. You see, people are naturally drawn to those who show genuine interest in them. It's a basic human need to be understood and appreciated. When you show genuine interest, you're fulfilling that need, and that alone can have a profound impact on your influence. Think about it. When was the last time someone showed real interest in your thoughts, your experiences, your dreams? How did that make you feel? Chances are you felt seen, you felt valued, and you likely held a higher opinion of the person who showed you that interest. But how do you show genuine interest? It's really not as complicated as you might think. It starts with being present in the conversation, fully engaged and attentive. It means asking thoughtful questions and truly listening to the responses. It's about recognizing the value in others and demonstrating that through your actions and words. Chapter 4. Being a good listener matters. In the domain of influence, being a good listener isn't just a desirable trait, it's an essential skill that can drastically elevate your ability to connect with others. It's not enough to just sit quietly and nod your head. Good listening involves active engagement, understanding, and empathy. When you're truly listening, you're not just hearing the words that are being spoken. You're also paying attention to the speaker's tone, their body language, and the emotions behind their words. You're demonstrating that you value their thoughts and feelings, and that you're willing to invest your time and attention in understanding them. This builds a stronger connection and generates trust, which is the foundation of influence. Now, you might think that being a good listener is all about staying silent, but that's not the case. Active listening requires you to occasionally reflect back what the speaker has said, to show that you're following along and to clarify your understanding. It also involves asking thoughtful questions to prompt further discussion and to explore more deeply into the topic. In essence, being a good listener means putting aside your own thoughts, opinions, and judgments, and fully focusing on the other person and their perspective. It's a skill that takes practice, but the payoff is immense. Not only does it enhance your relationships, but it also elevates your influence. People appreciate and respect those who truly listen, and they're more likely to be influenced by them. Chapter 5. Talk about the other person. Often, you'll find that focusing the conversation on the other person is a powerful strategy to build influence. This tactic, though seemingly simple, is rooted in deep psychological principles. When you talk about the other person, you affirm their existence, validate their experiences, and acknowledge their importance. As humans, we're wired for social interaction. We crave recognition and understanding from others. When you shift the spotlight from yourself to the other person, you're fulfilling that primal need. You become someone who understands, who cares, who sees the person beyond the facades. This perception elevates you in their eyes, and consequently, your influence grows. However, this isn't about flattery or manipulative praise. It's about genuine interest and curiosity. It's about asking the right questions, ones that invite the other person to open up, share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It's about active listening and thoughtful responses that show you're not just hearing, but truly understanding. Remember, talking about the other person isn't a monologue, but a dialogue. It's not about bombarding them with questions, but engaging them in a meaningful conversation where their opinions, ideas, and experiences matter. It's about making them feel seen, heard, and valued. Influence isn't about control or power. It's about relationship building. Relationships are founded on mutual understanding and respect. Talking about the other person is a critical step in this process. It forms a solid foundation for trust, rapport, and eventually, influence. Chapter 6. Make the other person feel important. Building on the idea of focusing the conversation on the other person, it becomes equally important to make them feel important and valued in your interactions. You're not merely trying to flatter them or inflate their ego, but genuinely acknowledge their worth. This is a crucial element in establishing influence. The first step is attentive listening. It's not just about being silent when they're talking, it's about actively engaging in the conversation, showing genuine interest, and validating their thoughts and feelings. Remember, people crave validation. If they sense that you're genuinely interested in what they're saying, they'll feel important and valued. Secondly, you should appreciate their qualities openly. Now, don't fake it. People can smell insincerity a mile away. Instead, find genuine things about them you admire and mention these things. It could be their creativity, determination, or even their sense of humor. What's important is that your appreciation is genuine and specific. Thirdly, provide constructive feedback, but in a respectful and considerate manner. This shows that you regard them as equal and aren't just looking to manipulate them. It is about developing a relationship built on mutual respect, where their opinions and feelings are valued. Finally, remember to treat them with kindness and respect, irrespective of their status or position. Every individual is unique and important, and treating them with respect and admiration sends a strong message. In a nutshell, making someone feel important is about genuine appreciation, respect, and validation. Implementing this in your interactions will greatly enhance your influence. Chapter 7. Inculcating a positive attitude. Consistently maintaining a positive attitude can be a game changer in your quest for influence, as it not only uplifts you but also those around you. It's a strong tool in your arsenal. A radiant disposition can disarm defenses and open doors to meaningful connections. Just think about it, wouldn't you rather engage with someone who emanates positivity rather than negativity? But how can you inculcate this positive attitude? First, it's about mindset. You've got to believe in the power of positivity, and it starts with self-talk. Your internal dialogue shapes your perception of the world and your place in it. Make a conscious decision to replace negative thoughts with good ones. It is not about dismissing obstacles, but rather about viewing them as opportunities for growth and learning. Next, you've got to practice gratitude. It's easy to focus on what's going wrong, but shifting your focus to what's going right can significantly enhance your outlook. Make it a habit to count your blessings, no matter how small they may seem. This practice can help you foster a positive attitude, even in challenging circumstances. Lastly, surround yourself with positive people. They'll inspire and motivate you, and their positivity can be quite infectious. By doing so, you're creating a positive environment conducive to influence and leadership. Chapter 8. Avoid arguments at any cost. Stepping away from arguments, no matter how tempting they may be, is an essential strategy in wielding influence effectively. It's easy to slip into a heated debate, especially when you're passionate about your stance. Yet this approach often leads to a dead end, shutting down communication and creating barriers between you and the other person. Arguments aren't productive, they're energy draining and often leave both parties feeling misunderstood and defensive. When you argue, you're locked in a battle of wills, which rarely results in an agreeable outcome. Instead, the focus shifts from understanding one another to proving who's right, and that's not the goal of influential communication. Remember, your objective isn't to defeat your opponent but to win them over. To do this, you need to keep the conversation flowing, maintaining an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding. Avoiding arguments allows you to keep this channel open, fostering a positive and productive exchange. Instead of arguing, try to steer the conversation towards areas of agreement and find common ground. Listen actively, ask open-ended questions, and show empathy towards the other person's perspective. This way, you're not only avoiding the trap of arguments but actively working towards building a stronger, more influential relationship based on understanding and respect. Chapter 9. Show respect to others' opinions. In the domain of influence, recognizing and respecting others' opinions isn't just important, it's a powerful tool for creating rapport, fostering trust, and ultimately, swaying perceptions. Your acknowledgement of diverse viewpoints sets a tone of mutual respect that's crucial in any influential relationship. Firstly, remember that every opinion, like every person, is unique. You need to honor this individuality if you're to truly respect others' viewpoints. When you genuinely value someone's perspective, you're not only showing respect for their intellectual autonomy, you're also affirming their worth as an individual. This little deed can do wonders for developing strong, impactful relationships. Next, adopt an open-minded approach. This means willingly accepting that your own perspective isn't the only valid one. Being open to different viewpoints not only broadens your understanding of the world, it also signals that you're confident enough to challenge your own beliefs. This openness and humility can enhance your influence significantly. However, showing respect for others' opinions doesn't mean agreeing with them unconditionally. It's about maintaining a judicious balance between acknowledging their perspective and standing your ground. When you master this balance, you're well on your way to becoming an effective influencer. Ultimately, the power of influence lies in understanding and respecting the diversity of human thought. By showing respect for others' opinions, you're not only building stronger relationships, you're also setting the stage for deeper, more meaningful conversations that can change perceptions and drive action. Chapter 10. Avoid criticizing or condemning. While embracing the diversity of opinions is important, it's equally essential to refrain from criticizing or condemning those viewpoints that deviate from your own. Criticism, in its negative form, can create a chasm between you and others, consequently diminishing your influence over them. Let's explore the psychological aspect of this. People inherently aim for validation and acceptance. When you criticize or condemn, you're indirectly challenging their self-concept, creating a defensive reaction. This defensive stance obstructs open communication, ultimately damaging your rapport and influence. Now, you might argue that criticism is necessary for growth. Indeed, it is. However, there's a profound difference between constructive criticism, which fosters growth, and destructive criticism, which fuels negativity. Constructive criticism is solution-oriented, focusing on the issue rather than the person. Destructive criticism, on the other hand, personalizes the issue, triggering defensiveness and resentment. This distinction is vital to maintaining your influence while fostering a healthy exchange of ideas. It's essential to remember that your influence isn't about asserting your superiority or rectitude. It's about creating a mutual understanding, respect, and, ultimately, leading by example. When you avoid criticizing or condemning, you aren't only showing respect for others' perspectives but also demonstrating your maturity and emotional intelligence. Chapter 11. Be specific with your praise. Harnessing the power of specific praise can greatly enhance your influence as it validates others, reinforces positive behavior, and strengthens your interpersonal connections. When you give precise compliments, you're not just flinging around empty words. You're showing that you've been paying attention. You're displaying understanding of the effort, skill, or talent that has been exerted. Consider the impact of a general compliment like "good job" versus a specific one such as "your presentation was well structured and engaging." I particularly liked how you incorporated relevant data to support your points. The latter not only feels more meaningful but also shows respect for the individual's unique strengths and contributions. However, it's essential to recall that specificity in praise must be genuine, else it can easily backfire. People can sense disingenuous compliments, and this could erode your credibility. Be honest and choose something that you genuinely appreciate about the person or their work. The power of specific praise also lies in the fact that it promotes growth. By highlighting what they did well, you're giving them a clear path to replicate that success. It's a potent tool that can inspire and motivate people to consistently perform at their best. Chapter 12. Show appreciation and gratitude. Exploring further the power of specific praise, showing appreciation and gratitude also plays a critical role in enhancing your ability to influence others positively. When you recognize the value others bring to the table and openly express your gratefulness, you build connections on a deeper emotional level. This emotional connection fosters trust and goodwill, which are fundamental to building influential relationships. Let's investigate further into this. It is not enough to simply express gratitude by saying thank you. Rather, it is necessary to demonstrate real recognition for the efforts and contributions made by other people. To wield this effectively, you need to be sincere and specific in expressing your gratitude. For example, instead of merely saying thanks for your help, you could say thank you for your help with the report. Your input really improved the final result. The specificity shows you've noticed their contribution, which makes your appreciation more meaningful. The act of gratitude, on the other hand, goes beyond just acknowledging the efforts of others. It involves a mindset of being thankful for the positives in each situation. This mindset, when communicated, can have a profound influence on those around you. Being consistently grateful helps you build a positive aura that attracts people and makes them more receptive to your influence. Chapter 13. Arouse in the other person. In the quest to enhance your influence, it's vital to learn how to evoke enthusiasm, curiosity, or a sense of belonging in the individuals you interact with. This isn't about manipulation or deceit, rather it's about genuinely connecting with others on a deeper level. When you can ignite a spark within someone, you've already begun to impact their thoughts and actions. To arouse in another person, you need to understand their desires, fears, and values. It's about seeing the world from their perspective, understanding their motivations, and appreciating their uniqueness. Once you've grasped this, you can tailor your language and actions to resonate with their inner world. This isn't about pretending, it's about empathy, understanding, and respect. You can arouse enthusiasm by sharing your passion, showing excitement, and conveying the benefits of your ideas. You can spark curiosity by asking probing questions, sharing intriguing facts, or presenting fresh perspectives. To foster a sense of belonging, show acceptance, create a shared identity, and emphasize common values and goals. Remember, arousing in another person isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous process that requires genuine interest, attentiveness, and adaptability. It's about building meaningful relationships where both parties feel valued and understood. By mastering this, you'll not only enhance your influence but also cultivate deeper, more rewarding connections. In the next section, Become Interested in Others, we'll explore further into how to show genuine interest in others and why it's crucial for building influence. Chapter 14. Become Interested in Others. Diving into the art of becoming genuinely interested in others, you'll discover it's not just about asking questions, but truly listening and engaging with their responses. Interest is a powerful tool in the world of influence. It's not a mere act of politeness, rather, it's a strategic move towards building a connection. Take note, however, that there's a difference between showing interest and feigning it. People can perceive insincerity, and it can become a barrier to building a rapport. Authentic interest is about being present in the conversation, demonstrating respect for the other person's ideas, and responding thoughtfully. To cultivate this interest, you need to develop empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Aim to understand their perspectives, their motivations, and their experiences. It's not about agreeing with everything they say, but appreciating their unique viewpoints. This understanding can give you deeper insights into their behavior and decision-making processes, enhancing your ability to influence. Moreover, being genuinely interested in others encourages reciprocity. When people feel that you value their thoughts, they're more likely to value yours in return. This reciprocity fosters mutual respect and trust, key ingredients in the recipe for influence. Chapter 15. Smile and make eye contact. While cultivating genuine interest in others lays a strong foundation, you can further enhance your influence by mastering nonverbal communication, such as smiling and making eye contact. These seemingly important actions speak volumes about your attitude and intentions. They're the building blocks of trust and rapport, subtly signaling openness and receptivity. Let's explore deeper into the power of a genuine smile. It's a universal indicator of friendliness, non-threatening behavior, and positivity. When you smile, you're not just portraying a pleasant demeanor, but you're also subconsciously inviting others to let their guard down. It's a potent tool that fosters warmth and connection, but beware of its misuse. Remember, a fake or forced smile can be easily spotted and might lead to skepticism or distrust. Aim for authenticity. Let your smile radiate your genuine goodwill. Now, onto eye contact. It's a potent nonverbal cue that signifies attentiveness and respect. When you maintain eye contact, you're showing the other person that you're fully engaged and interested in what they're saying. It's a clear demonstration of your investment in the conversation. However, it's important to strike a balance. An excessive amount of eye contact might be perceived as intrusive or scary, while an insufficient amount can be interpreted as a lack of interest or evasion. Aim for a comfortable, respectful level of eye contact that assures the other person of your sincere interest. Mastering these skills requires practice and self-awareness. Being mindful of your nonverbal cues can significantly improve the quality of your interactions and your ability to wield influence effectively. Chapter 16. Find common ground quickly. Building rapport and gaining influence isn't just about your demeanor, it's also about quickly finding common ground with the person you're communicating with. This is a crucial phase in the process of establishing relationships and cultivating a sense of trust and comprehension between individuals. It's the glue that binds you together, creating a mutual platform where both parties feel recognized and valued. It's important to understand that finding common ground doesn't mean that you have to share the same opinions or interests. It's about identifying shared experiences, values, or perspectives that can serve as a bridge between two unique individuals. This often involves a degree of empathy and active listening to really understand the other individual's perspective. But how do you do this quickly? It's simpler than you might think. To get started, you should ask open-ended inquiries. As a result, the other person will feel more comfortable sharing more about themselves, which will provide you with vital insight into their world. Then, look for opportunities to relate this back to your own experiences or values. You might say something like, "I can relate to that. When I was in a similar situation, I felt the same way." This subtly communicates to the other person that you understand them and that you share a common viewpoint. Chapter 17. Be a good friend and listener. After finding that shared viewpoint, it's also key to show yourself as a reliable friend and attentive listener. This is a deep-rooted aspect of influence that goes beyond mere agreement. It's about establishing a connection that fosters trust and respect, making you a source of comfort and reliability. Now, you might wonder, how do you exhibit friendliness authentically? It's simpler than you think. Start by showing genuine interest in others. Ask about their day, their hobbies, their dreams. Share your experiences too, but don't monopolize the conversation. Remember, it's about showing interest in their world, not just broadcasting yours. Being a good listener, on the other hand, isn't just about staying silent while the other person talks. It's about active listening. This means you're fully engaged in the conversation, giving feedback, and asking relevant questions. You're not just hearing their words, you're understanding their thoughts, feelings, and motivations. However, beware of becoming a passive listener where you merely nod and smile, but your mind is elsewhere. People can sense when you're not genuinely engaged, and it can erode trust. So, to enhance your power of influence, be that friend who's always there, ready to lend an ear, share a laugh, or offer a comforting word. Be the listener who not only hears but understands. This isn't a manipulative trick, it's about building authentic relationships. Influence isn't about controlling others, it's about creating a connection that inspires mutual respect and understanding. And that, dear reader, starts with being a good friend and listener. Chapter 18. Make the other person feel heard. To truly make someone feel heard, you need to do more than just listen to their words. You need to understand their emotions, validate their experiences, and respond in a way that shows your comprehension and empathy. It's about tuning into the undercurrents of their feelings and giving them the space to express them. This approach isn't just about attentiveness, it's about active engagement and emotional intelligence. Engaging in active listening is one way to achieve this. It means focusing entirely on the speaker, avoiding distractions, and responding appropriately. When you're genuinely engaged in the conversation, you'll naturally lean in, nod, and use verbal affirmations like "I understand," or that makes sense. These small cues can make a world of difference in letting someone know they're heard. Another key aspect is to validate their experiences. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, but rather acknowledging their feelings and perspective. Phrases like "I can see why you'd feel that way," or "that must have been hard for you," show that you appreciate their viewpoint, even if it's different from yours. Lastly, demonstrate your understanding by summarizing what they've said, clarifying any confusions, and asking follow-up questions. This shows that you're not just hearing their words, but you're processing and understanding them. Chapter 19. Creating a win-win situation. Having made sure the other person feels genuinely heard, you're in an ideal position to navigate towards creating a win-win situation. This requires careful negotiation, understanding, and tact. You need to make sure both parties feel they're gaining something worthwhile from the interaction. This doesn't necessarily need to be materialistic. It could be emotional, psychological, or social gain. One way to achieve this is by helping the other person see the value in your proposition. You've got to present your ideas in a way that they perceive as beneficial to them. However, it's important to ensure you're not manipulating or deceiving them. The key is to be honest, transparent, and respectful. Another way to create a win-win situation is by being flexible and open to compromise. This doesn't mean giving up your principles or settling for less. A solution that satisfies the interests and desires of both parties is what we are looking for here. This might involve some give and take, but that's okay. In fact, compromise often leads to stronger relationships because it shows that you value the other person's perspective and are willing to work together. Chapter 20. Be empathetic with others. In the journey of mastering the power of influence, it's imperative that you cultivate a deep sense of empathy for others. Empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for someone, it's about understanding their experiences, their feelings, and their perspectives. It's about putting yourself in their shoes and seeing things from their point of view. When you're empathetic, you're not just listening to what others are saying, you're hearing them. You're tapping into their emotions, their fears, their joys, and their dreams. This level of understanding can be powerful because it connects you with others on an emotional level, which is often more compelling than any logical argument. But how do you cultivate sympathy? It starts with empathy. Empathy is the ability to feel what others are feeling. It's about letting go of your own perspective and adopting someone else's. It's about feeling their pain, their happiness, their sadness, and their excitement. Once you've cultivated empathy, sympathy follows naturally. As you understand others' feelings, you'll start to care about their well-being. You'll want to help them, to support them, to make them feel better. And that's where the real power of influence lies. Chapter 21. Ask open-ended questions. Building on the foundation of empathy and sympathy, another powerful tactic for gaining influence is engaging people with open-ended questions. By taking this method, you demonstrate that you are genuinely interested in the thoughts and emotions of other people, and you urge them to share more about themselves, so establishing a connection that can significantly increase your impact. Open-ended questions are inquiries that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. Instead, they open up the conversation for further exploration, allowing others to express their opinions, beliefs, and experiences in depth. These questions are key to fostering meaningful dialogues, as they encourage others to open up, revealing more about their motivations, values, and aspirations. When you ask someone, "Did you enjoy the movie?" there is a significant difference between the two. "And what did you think of the movie?" the latter invites a more detailed response, offering insight into the person's feelings, thoughts, and perspectives. It's not just about the answers you receive, but the trust and rapport you build by showing that you value their input. Moreover, when you ask open-ended questions, you're demonstrating respect for the other person's thoughts and ideas. You're showing them that you're not just seeking to impose your views, but that you're genuinely interested in understanding theirs. This promotes equality and mutual respect, making others more likely to accept the impact you have. In essence, the power of open-ended questions lies in their capacity to create deeper connections, build trust, and foster mutual respect, all of which are essential for effectively wielding the power of influence. Remember, influence isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding, connecting, and inspiring others. Chapter 22. Never tell anyone exactly. While it might seem counterintuitive, never exploring a topic in depth can be a powerful tool in your influence arsenal. It's not about holding information hostage or playing mind games. Rather, it's about respecting the autonomy of others, encouraging their problem-solving skills, and subtly guiding them towards the desired outcome. Let's investigate this principle further. When you're explicit, you limit the other person's options and potentially alienate them. It doesn't give them a chance to contribute their ideas, which could lead to feelings of dissatisfaction or resentment. You might get temporary compliance, but it doesn't foster long-term goodwill and likability. Instead, consider using suggestive language and asking leading questions. It's a more tactful approach to influence that respects the other person's autonomy. It encourages their input and makes them feel valued. By doing this, you're not only getting them on your side, but you're also empowering them to make decisions. Moreover, by not telling someone exactly what to do, you're challenging them to think critically and develop their problem-solving skills. This isn't just beneficial to them, but also to you, as it cultivates a culture of innovation and independent thinking. Chapter 23. Let the other person do talking. Shifting the spotlight to the other person by letting them do the talking can be a powerful strategy in your influence playbook. It's an important technique that, when executed effectively, can transform your interactions and greatly enhance your influence. Here's why this works. Everyone has a natural desire to express their thoughts, ideas, and experiences. By giving the other person the stage, you're catering to this deep-seated need. You're making them feel valued and important, which substantially increases their positive perception of you. However, it's not just about sitting back and zoning out while the other person chats away. It's essential that you actively listen, showing genuine interest and engagement. You've got to ask open-ended questions to keep the conversation flowing and provide thoughtful responses to show that you're truly paying attention. Secondly, it's important to understand that this strategy isn't about manipulation. Rather, it's about fostering mutual respect and understanding. When you allow the other person to speak, you create an environment in which they feel comfortable sharing their views and ideas. This not only boosts your likability but also enriches your own understanding of them. Lastly, remember that balance is key. While it's beneficial to let the other person do the talking, you also need to contribute meaningful insights to the conversation. This is a careful dance, a balance between listening and contributing, that when perfected, can significantly enhance your influence. Chapter 24. Let the other person feel smarter. Just as important as active listening, making the other person feel smarter can be a potent tool in your influence arsenal. This approach doesn't mean to flatter insincerely or manipulate deceptively, but to genuinely acknowledge their wisdom and expertise. When you make someone feel intelligent, they're more likely to be open to your ideas and perspectives. To begin with, show genuine interest in their thoughts and ideas. Ask insightful questions that reflect your curiosity and desire to understand. When they offer information or insights, respond with appreciation and respect. It's not about being a yes man, but about acknowledging their intellectual contributions. Secondly, you can use the technique of reflective listening. This entails paraphrasing what the speaker has said, not to repeat them, but to demonstrate that you actually understand their point of view. This not only makes the person feel heard, but also valued and smart. Lastly, Don't shy away from expressing your admiration for their intelligence, especially when it's due. A well-timed compliment can go a long way in boosting someone's confidence, making them feel respected and valued. Chapter 25. Be sincere and authentic always. In the domain of influence, authenticity is your greatest asset. Sincerity, not manipulation, engenders trust and opens avenues for effective communication. As you interact with others, let your words and actions spring from genuine belief and intention. You can't fake authenticity. People can sense when you're disingenuous, and this can quickly erode any rapport you've built. Sincerity is the bedrock of fruitful relationships. It's about being honest, open, and devoid of hidden motives. When you're sincere, you don't have to remember what you said or did, because all your actions reflect your true self. This attribute allows you to influence others without appearing manipulative. Authenticity, on the other hand, involves staying true to who you are, your values, and your beliefs. It's about being real and transparent. This doesn't mean sharing everything about yourself. It simply means not pretending to be someone you're not. Authenticity fosters trust and respect, which are critical in wielding influence. However, cultivating sincerity and authenticity isn't a walk in the park. It requires self-awareness, courage, and consistency. You must be ready to embrace your flaws and strengths alike, and stand up for your values, even when it's inconvenient. As a captain skillfully navigates his ship through stormy seas, you too can steer your relationships with influence. Master the art of conversation, be sincerely interested, and listen keenly to those around you. Let them shine brighter, talk more, and feel smarter. Be authentic, like the sturdy oak standing tall in its truth. The power is in your hands to inspire trust and make a positive impact. This is the secret to making people like you. Thanks for listening to or reading this from Audiobooks Office.